What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got some level 6 Digimon that we need to be having just a little bit of a chat about. We did have a new blue level 6 Digimon revealed yesterday, but unfortunately, time, family, etc. didn't get around to it. Plus, there was another level 6 that got sneakily revealed while we weren't paying full attention. So I thought, right, let's have a little bit of a chat at the pair of them in today's video. Shout out to the lovely Jason Snowjacks and everyone over on the Facebook group for translations and proxies and just being awesome people. Seriously, I say this with nothing but love and sincerity. The Facebook community that's grown up for this Digimon trading card game is just full of absolutely brilliant, wonderful, awesome people. So if you're not joined in that Facebook group yet, please go and do it because those dudes are awesome. So Vikemon then, what do we have? Well, Vikemon is a 12 cost to play normally, 4 costs to evolve, both of which are slightly higher than we've seen since the starter decks. The cost of level 6s in the starter deck was slightly higher than we've seen since. But it's got 12,000 power, which again is slightly higher than we've seen since the starter decks. Nowadays, the average seems to be 11-3, 11,000. 12-4, 12,000 seems all right for me. But what does it do? Well, it's got a skill whereby on your turn, if your opponent has any Digimon with no evolution sources, this gains 1,000 power and security attack +1. And this is a sneaky, very good, very important Digimon. Because you see, 13,000 power basically says, I am the most powerful level 6 that you've seen so far. We just don't see higher than that. Now we've seen some level 7s, which come up above this. We saw Omegamon back in New Evolution. We've seen Millenniummon in Ultimate Power. Although Millenniummon is still only 13,000 power, so fine, you'll go down, but you will take Millenniummon down with you, which is better than nothing. But the point here is that you are taking down your opponent's Digimon. Generally speaking, your level, and there are always exceptions, but generally speaking, level 6 Digimon tend to really max out at 12,000 power, and honestly, most of them have 11,000 power. Although there's, things around like Titanmon which do rock the 12,000. And the point here is that with 12,000, you're matching all of them and beating most of them. So you'll be taking any of them down, but you might be going down with them. But at 13,000 power, you can take down anyone but the level 7s, while also making sure that you're able to attack into security and survive. And then we get to the second part of the skill, of course, which is this security attack +1. And what you're basically saying now is, not only are you not being destroyed by security Digimon, unless your opponent's playing something like the Yellow Tamer from the starter deck and really beefing up their security cards, but also you're attacking more than one security. But we're fairly sure you're going to survive against those security, and that's what's so good here. I like security attack +1, taking out an extra security card, etc. is good, but remember, if you get destroyed by the first security card, you never even have a chance to go after the second. That's what I love about Vikemon here. It's not a very nuanced card. It's not a very, hey, look at all these awesome things I can do kind of card. It is a very straightforward, I am going to be powerful and try and take out multiple cards kind of card. But actually, I like this. If you're looking for a big, hard-hitting, aggressive Digimon to take out multiple security cards, Vikemon has totally got your back. Now, I don't think we need a giant discussion about getting rid of your opponent's evolution sources. We've seen this kind of stuff over and over again. In the starter deck, we had Gabumon and Garurumon, bearing in mind that you can, and we've had the ruling, right? You can apply skills in whichever order you like if they happen at the same time. So if you've got these two, you can take out 2 evolution sources essentially as the first thing during your attack. That's a good thing. And remember, you only need one of your opponent's Digimon to have no evolution sources for this to fire. I mean, if you want to go all the way to the end, we've got Kaiser Nail here, which will just flat out take out every evolution source on all of your opponent's Digimon at once. It's kind of the nuclear option. It's Nail Crusher, sorry. It's pretty gosh darned awesome, shall we say. And don't forget, we did have the Tamer, the Matashita card in New Evolution that does let you rest it when you play a blue Digimon and get rid of one of your opponent's evolution sources. So that is something to very much bear in mind. So I'm a big fan of this. This looks really good. How about we move on and have a little bit of a chat about a different level 6. Specifically, I'm talking about Venommyotismon, a purple level 6. 12 cost to play normally, 4 cost to evolve, 12,000 power. So you'll notice here the stats are exactly the same as Vikemon. Slightly more expensive than we would sometimes like, but slightly more expensive than we would generally expect. So, again, call it a little bit of a draw. And what we have here is a rather lovely skill that has security attack +1, and on your opponent's turn, if your opponent's Digimon is rested, you gain +1 memory. This looks broken. Now, if the translation we've got for this is correct, and if I'm reading this correctly, this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Because there is no limited to once during your turn. And we've seen this, I mean, right back to Patamon in the starter decks. A lot of these skills we've seen that give you extra memory are limited to once during your turn, so that you don't end up with a huge amount of memory and roll. And maybe this is a sign from the card designers that they're going to just let us go a little bit nuts with this. That they're going to let us use these skills over and over again to get extra memory, and they're not going to limit us in that regard. Because as it stands at the moment, this is just flat out ridiculous. Because if your opponent rests 4 Digimon, you gain 4 memory. Now, one thing to remember here is that when your opponent rests, if the memory goes to your side of the memory gauge, it does become your turn. But remember, if they're resting to attack, they've started the attack, so you do essentially have to let the attack resolve, and at the end of the attack, it will then become your turn. That is frankly ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. That is over the top. If we've got this correct, if the translation is correct, if the reading of the rule is correct, etc., and Venommyotismon is actually what we think it is, this is just over the top silly. Because this is going to get you multiple extra memory every turn. Now, I've also told you that I started a discussion of this particular card, telling you how it is slightly more expensive than we would usually expect, but then that really doesn't matter even a little bit when you're potentially getting memory after memory after memory. I mean, this becomes what we refer to in Keyforge as a Burn the Witch card. A card which is so powerful, you just have to go after it at the earliest opportunity. But then we need to remember that it is a 12,000 power level 6, which we've already said is a bit more powerful than average, which means it's going to be a bit more difficult to take this down than it would be your average level 6. And what we're left with is just a frankly ridiculous card. And that's before we even mention security attack +1. And don't get me wrong, right? Security attack +1 is awesome. It means you're getting extra security, and it means that you have to attack fewer times to win the game. I'm not sleeping on how good security attack +1 can be. It's a great skill. Unfortunately, we look at this and we just go, well, it's actually so good for the other skill that we're almost just ignoring entirely that it's got security attack +1. But don't, because that's still a really good skill. Make no mistake about it, if we are right about Venommyotismon, it should be one of the very best cards we've seen so far. Nice power, nice to have security attack +1, but the fact that you can get an extra memory every time one of your opponent's Digimon is rested, I almost feel like, well, it was a kind of blurry image we got. Maybe it's a mistranslation? Or maybe there's a rule that we're forgetting about here? Although let's be 100% clear here, the translations that have been given by people on the Facebook group so far have been absolutely brilliant and turned out to be correct, so we probably should assume a correct translation. Either way, this looks absolutely nuts, and I am very, very excited to go and have a play. But I'd like to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun stuff. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.